Hey, you guys. So today I want to challenge you on something because we're coming up to the end of the year and maybe you're not where you thought you would be when it comes to your goals or maybe even your expectations of what would happen this year. And if that's you, I'd be willing to bet that there is a little lie in there that you're starting to believe when it comes to the progress that you've made. So let's spend a little time talking about what that lie is and how you can overcome and move towards your goals in life and money. But first, do me a favor and make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons to keep this content coming back to you. All right, raise your hand if you've ever believed the lie, if I can't do this thing perfectly, then it's not worth doing at all. Anybody? Okay, I'm not a huge perfectionist. I'm more like, get it done. And if it's not done perfectly, but it's done, I'm good with it. But then I talked to some of my friends and they're like, oh my gosh, they have to do everything, so perfectly. And again, I think that there's a level of that yes, is good. Put in your best effort in life. I think that's really key. But also knowing like things are not going to go perfectly. So maybe you had a goal of paying off debts, but your payoff is a little off track. Or maybe you're wanting to budget, but you feel like, God, you just didn't get the hang of it and it just feels like it's messing up. Or whatever the goal is out there that you're like, man, I thought I was going to do this and it's just not panning out the way I thought it would. You are not alone. This has happened to me. It's happened to you. And we've all had setbacks like this. And it can feel like, your goal is just a lost cause because you didn't get it right. And I mean, I even see this kind of things in my kids even, this like perfectionism of like, I have to get this right. One of my sweet kids, like they lost their spelling list one week, and this particular child of mine, she is the perfectionist. And it's like everything has to be good and perfect, and she kind of worries about it. And I just see this like little stress in her already in life. And she lost her spelling words one week, and it was just tears and tears. And, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was just grabbing her hands. And I looked at her and I said, get a 0. Miss every single word on that test. You are fine. Like, this is not a life or death situation. You're in like the 2nd grade and you've gotten hundreds on every spelling test up until this point. You're going to be okay, because you know what's going to happen? If you get a 0, you're going to come home. It's going to be Friday night. We're going to watch a movie and eat pizza like we always do. And like life goes on. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And of course, sweet girlfriend like goes and gets 100 on the spelling test. Now, my other children, we probably won't have that same conversation. It's going to be more like, why do you keep forgetting your spelling tests? Like, it'll be a different thing. So we love both sides of the coin, but if you are a perfectionist out there, I just want to encourage you to throw it out the window. Like, it is not worth it. Because what if I told you that failure was the actual first step of reaching your goal? Because if you're doing something new, you guys, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel awkward. You're not going to do it perfectly, and that's okay. And it might seem weird to talk about failing as the first step of moving forward, but that is where this mindset change is going to be great for you. That if you know, I'm going to fail somewhere along the way, and it's okay. I'm not going to do it perfectly. But when you think about things differently of what other people claim is just normal, it might seem weird at first, and that is totally okay. Because I want you to be weird, especially if that means that you're doing things intentionally, including how you spend your healthcare dollars. And one way to be intentional is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. Programs start as low as $98 a month. So find out more and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. So if the only way you're going to reach your goals is by making progress perfectly, then you're probably never going to reach them, because the truth is nobody is perfect, shocker, and especially when you're trying something new. So if perfectionism or the fear of failure is holding you back, remember these couple of things. Number 1, start where you are. Like, regardless of what's going on in your life, just say, hey, I'm going to just make the first step. So maybe that's actually creating a budget. Maybe that's listing out your debts to see which one you want to pay off first. Like, it is just that first step, but start wherever you are. Start somewhere. Start now. All right, number 2, you might feel a little stupid. You might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up this whole thing. And here's the deal. You might. Because just trying something new, you're not going to be good at it the first time, and that's okay. So again, throw this idea that, gosh, everything has to just go right every single step of the way. It's not going to. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have to change some strategies, and that's okay. Number 3, nobody cares or thinks about you as much as you do. So just get out there. Some people have this fear of like, gosh, what if people see me fail? Nobody's looking. Let's be honest. Like, unless I guess you're screaming it from the rooftops everywhere you go, which that would be odd if you did that anyways. But like, nobody's looking for you to fail. I mean, if they are, they're a terrible person and you shouldn't think about them anyways. But I think we put so much pressure on ourselves sometimes of like, oh gosh, what are other people going to think? And the truth is they're thinking about that themselves. They're thinking, what are people going to think? Because they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about them. And that's the truth. So the goal in all of this, again, you guys, is to throw perfection out the window. And when you're not focused on being perfect, guess what? You survive your mistakes. And that Brene Brown quote I think is so powerful is that shame focuses on self, guilt focuses on behavior. So guilt says, yeah, I did something bad. I did something wrong. I messed that thing up, but it's okay. Where shame says, I'm bad, I'm messed up, I'm wrong. And you want to really pull those two things apart. Shame and guilt are two different things. So if you try something new and you fail, it's not that you're a failure, it's that you have failed in this. And that's okay. You get to pick yourself back up and try again. And sometimes when you're struggling to keep a goal or you're struggling with perfectionism, you need somebody in your life to hold you accountable and say, you're going to be okay. That show the progress that you're making, show yourself grace. Like you need some of that encouragement. So if you need somebody to walk with you through that, I think it is so powerful, especially when it comes to our financial goals. So I would encourage you to check out Financial Peace University. There may be a class in your area. Maybe you can do it online, but having a community around you is really key. So I will put a link below to make sure to check that out in the show notes. And if one of the goals you're trying to reach has to do with investing, number 1, I want to encourage you. Investing is a great way to build wealth. But number 2, it can be super confusing, which is why I want you to avoid some of the common investing mistakes. So keep watching to find out 7 investing mistakes to watch out for. And we'll leave a link to that video in the description. And if you're listening on podcasts, I'll leave a link to the next episode. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.